Good evening and welcome to the final round of the America F1 Series. Tom Cairns in the commentary box, who will be alongside Byron, who will be joining me a little bit later on. Meanwhile, as we are in Abu Dhabi for the last round, we also have a title decider between two drivers. The favourite, Ben McEwen, 16 points clear in the Williams, ahead of Mercedes' Rade Khan. Now, this is an 18-minute qualifying session before the 50% race distance event. 28 laps it will be to decide who will become the first America F1 Series champion. Who will it be? Now, with it being a 16-point gap, Rade Khan would need to finish second or higher to have any chance of snatching the crown from Ben McEwen's nose. Ben McEwen is champion regardless of where he finishes. So qualifying begins. So just a little bit of a rundown as to a few changes maybe in the driver lineup. We've got G. Jackson, who returns. This is only his third outing of the season. He's already won in Singapore. He's back in the Racing Point, pushing the replacement of his last time out in Zandvoort. That is, I'm just trying to find his name, WSPJA, who is in the AlphaTauri this time. And I think that's all the changes for this particular round. Now, G. Jackson and WSPGA, brilliant race. They're already winners in this championship, winners in a Grand Prix this season. Can they add to their tally? Ben McEwen will most certainly be thinking about the championship. Rade Khan likewise, although it's Rade Khan who needs to be going for it. To guarantee himself the title, Ben McEwen would need to score 11 points, or 10 points I should say, to guarantee himself the title. Even if Rade Khan and Ben McEwen were to tie on points, Ben McEwen would take the championship on the basis of the most wins. So Ben McEwen just needs a top 5 finish and he's crowned champion. The first task is qualifying. Can any of the other drivers who have been competing over the course of the season improve on their championship position? I just want to have a look at the drivers' standings as to other positions that some of these drivers may try and go for to improve their position. And we've got a battle for, well, there's a battle for second place mathematically between Rade Khan and Gamer James, although Gamer James is 24 points behind, which means a race win would be needed in order to have any hope of leapfrogging Rade Khan. And there's a battle for third place between Gamer James and Switchback, 9 points between those two. So it could be not just a battle for the title, but also for third place in the drivers' standings. And looking at the teams' championship, Williams are only 2 points clear of Mercedes. So there's that battle going on. Alfa Romeo have an outside chance of leapfrogging those two, albeit 38 points behind, so they need maximum points really to have any chance of overcoming Mercedes and Williams. Anything can happen though in Abu Dhabi. We've seen some title deciders in Formula 1 in the past, in 2010, 2014 and 2016. Abu Dhabi, host of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix for Formula 1 since 2009 and has hosted a Grand Prix in every season since. So we want to go down and see who is on a fast lap. I think Bishop's Finger has already started his flying lap. Ben McEwen already has, so we'll come on board with him. Locking up there into what looks like turn 16. Just getting the track map up so I can just remember the numbers in terms of the turns. And he's gone in the pits because his lap time's been invalidated. So that would be Ben McEwen needing to go back out. Tilwick's on a time lap. In fact, Sarli in the McLaren has gone to the top temporarily, beaten by G. Jackson. Singapore winner, going to the top on a 34 flat. Stokeblow up to second on a 35.4. Let's see who else is on a fast lap. Tilwick is about to complete his. Round in the last corner of turn 21 in the Haas. And he goes up to fourth with his 38.8. He will need to improve a lot with that. Bishop's Finger is next. He'll go between Tilwick and Sarley, up to fourth on a 36.2. And Disimpy on a fast lap. We'll stay with him. And Sarley, who was in the Red Bull last time out, is stood in for Karim, who is apparently not available. And Disimpy over the line to go sixth on the 41.9. He's lost time somewhere. That's most definitely not his fastest. Most definitely not going to be his fastest lap. Gamer James is purple in sector 1. Just trying to see who else is going to be on the fast lap at the moment. Bishop's Finger looking to go quicker than before. He may be coming back into the pits. So Gamer James looking to end what's been a respectable season on a high. He did win the second race of the season at Monza, but he hasn't won since then. He's only won once this season. The drivers who have won a race this season are Ben McEwen, who's won 4 times. Gamer James has won 1, so has Switchback, and Radicon. Pure G Jackson's won 1, and WSPJA won last time out in Zandvoort. Could we have another different winner? Well, not if Gamer James carries on corner cutting like that. That's his luck ruined. And Quasinada, 67, who's had quite a troubled season. He's been qualifying well in some rounds, but when it comes to the race, that's when he tends to not quite put in as good of a performance. Just trying to see who else is on a fast lap at the moment. Radicon's out on track in the Mercedes. He really needs a strong qualifying here. He needs to get himself at the front of the grid. I think he's going to find it tough though with the likes of Pure G Jackson, WSPJA, and others who are most certainly going to be going for pole. If you were to ask me how many drivers are going to be in the running for pole, realistically I would say 6 or 7. But we'll see. So Radicon going through the end of sector 2. It's 57.4 that was clocked. And he's exceeded the track limits there, and that's his lap time ruined. And B Natty Nutter in the Haas, who's also struggled throughout the campaign. Although he does enjoy it so much, and most definitely needs to try and improve for next season. He goes 6th on a 39.1. Thomas Indu has set an unrepresentative time, but at least it's a time anyhow. And we've got Switchback, race winner in Austria in that classic encounter. What is he going to put in here in his Alfa Romeo? Nailed the apex nicely there. He goes under the bridge. A little snap of oversteer, but nothing too major. Comes through turns 20 and 21 now. The last turn, does he keep the car within the track limits? The answer is yes. And he goes up to second on a 34.6. 6/10 away from Pure G Jackson's provisional pole time. Monkey Mafia is also on a fast lap. He's on the medium compound. Stowblade's gone out on another flying lap, as is Pure G Jackson. A 10 pot through sector 1 from his personal best. Now back to Monkey Mafia. He'll be the next driver to cross over the line for a fast time. Less than 9 minutes to go now in qualifying. Monkey Mafia, who has had a respectable campaign, it has to be said. So far this season, he's had, just trying to have a look at his best result over the course of the season. His first race that he did in Austria, he came home in 4th place. He's currently 12th in the driver's standings. A good haul of points here could elevate him up a couple of places. He goes 7th fastest on his mediums on a 36.6. Pure G Jackson goes fastest. Well, he betters his time from before by nearly 6/10, a 33.4. That's an amazing lap there from Pure G Jackson. Provisional pole position. I think it's going to be very hard for everyone else to beat, including Ben McEwen. And Denmark in the Renault. He's on a fast lap. Coming through turn 19. Penultimate turn executed well. Takes a wide line through 21. And it's going to be a 34.5. Puts him second. That's a brilliant lap from Denmark. Not a bad lap indeed. And Sarli looking to improve. I think he gone back up to 4th with his latest lap of 35.2. But we'll see as the session goes on. And 1.4 seconds up from his previous best is DeSimpi. His time was a 41.9 from before, so it's most definitely going to be an improvement, providing he keeps the car within the track limits. Racing Point getting out of the way. DeSimpi crossing over the line. It's going to be a 35.6. Puts him up to 6th place. Gamer James in the McLaren, yet to post a time so far in this session. Ben McEwen, purple in sector 1 on his mediums. He's another driver who's yet to set a time. Vadicon the same. He needs to get a lap in. DeSimpi is going quicker again through sector 1. It wasn't a bad first sector at all. So he may just carry on as he's doing.
He looks to be going very, very quick at this stage in the qualifier, and could improve a bit more faster sector 2 to coincide with it. And he's clearly on an absolute mission here at Abu Dhabi. Hello, Tom. I'm back.
Hello there. Hi there. Welcome back. Welcome, Byron, to the commentary box. It's good to have you here for the season finale. Just to remind you as well, 16-point gap between Ben McEwen and the Radicon it is, going into this last race. What are you feeling for this?
Ben McEwen. I'm feeling those Ben McEwen vibes there. He's giving me that winning energy. I think he's got it.
Well, he's just come back into the pits, actually, as Ben McEwen. He's yet to set a time. He did come out earlier on, but on his soft compound on the first time, he had his time invalidated for exceeding track limits. So he's just come back into the pits, presumably to go on and set the soft compound to not only get a lap on the board, but to get right up there. And Pure G Jackson's pace has been spellbinding.
Well, it's quite clear, 8 tenths is the gap between him and P2 Gamer James, and Gamer James is quick, so where Pure G Jackson is getting his pace from, I would like to know, and I want some.
I'm sure we would love to have some of that pace with the way we do our time trials and that. Meanwhile, Radicon crossing over the line to go up to 5th on a 34.7. So that's not really where he needs to be at the moment. Having said that, Ben McEwen has yet to post a time, although he will be coming back out onto the track shortly. But this will be Ben McEwen's last chance of getting a lap on the board. Otherwise, he will be starting at the back of the grid.
It's going to be important for him to get the lap in right now when it really counts. So he's going to have to be really careful on this lap and make sure it doesn't get invalidated. You've really got this very tight chicane, which I think is turn 4-5 here, where he's going through now, Ben McEwen. That's very easy to invalidate your lap. And then it can be relatively easy through the second chicane, which I believe is turn 7-8, if I'm correct. Yeah, I think it is. It turns 7 and 8, and then you've got 9, 10, 11, the really tight triple chicane. I'm not sure if that's the technical term for it, but we'll roll with it. The really tight triple chicane at the end of the second DRS straight could, again, another very easy place to invalidate your lap time, but providing those kind of 3 hot spots, you keep it within the track, you should be alright.
Yeah. We'll just have a look on the track map. The triple chicane, as you were talking about, that's turns 11, 12 and 13. The first chicane, just after the first set, so is 5 and 6. The second chicane at the end of the first backstretch is turns 8 and 9. So that's just...
So, one off on that.
Yeah.
So it's the little kink in the corner again, counting as a corner.
Yeah, and Sarli getting held up there by B Natinato. I think B Natinato may well have been on a fast lap himself. Sarli backs out of it. Yeah, he was going much faster than B Natinato, as you would expect. But yeah, it's not quite what you want to see in the final phase of qualifying. Yeah, and so is Bishop's Finger, who has got further around. Oh, he's had his lap time invalidated, so he'll need to move out of the way of his teammates. He's coming through now. He's going to go to the runoff area.
He could always try and give his teammate a toe.
Yeah, and Gomez-Indus hit the barrier.
If I was Bishop Finger, I was gonna probably try and give my teammate a toe. Be nice, but Bishop's Finger clearly not wanting to be very nice. As Ben McEwen, I'm not sure he's quite got it in for pole, but he should be right up there.
Yeah, I can tell you that Denmark is on his last lap in the Renault, third fastest at the moment. So he's coming through the last sector now. He's coming through towards where the hotel bridge is. Through turn 17 and through 18. And the left-hander of 19 is next.
And then the tricky right-hander of 20 and then 21. Can be quite easy to invalidate your lap time there if you're not careful, so quite clear he was very careful for that.
Well, there's no improvement there from Denmark, so he will stay third for the time being at least. I'm not sure if Switchback's going to have enough time to
Ben McEwen goes to second.
Yeah, Ben McEwen up to second place in the Williams. That's more like it from him. Bad news for Radicon as well, because he's down in 6th place and he's not going to be improving.
He did retire quite a bit earlier on in the session. Police fancied saying, I'm not going to be able to get out on another lap and improve, so called it quits, and that's why he's no longer going to be partaking in the rest of qualifying. But now the checkered flag falls, and now we're just waiting for drivers to cross the line.
And Sarli is in the McLaren. Last time out was in the Red Bull, now he's in the McLaren this weekend. He's about to complete his latest lap on the soft compound. Does this move him up a position? It improves his... No, there's no change of position or time, so that's him starting in 8th. At least Ray completes his first time of the session. He goes up to 9th. And Monkey Mafia is the next to cross the line. 1.1 seconds up in sector 2. most definitely going to be improvement. He's up to 8th with that time, so good luck from him. And Gamer James over the line, up to 3rd in the McLaren.
Just waiting for Schiffer to cross the checkered flag, and he's also, I believe, on an improvement, and he does improve, and he's up to 13th, so ahead of Binati Nata and Gamazindu, who moves up to a relatively healthy 13th place. Not a bad lap time from the Ferrari, and, still better than their 2021 pace.
So
do you really love a dig at Ferrari?
Yeah, well, P.R.G. Jackson is on pole position for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. He was absolutely outstanding in Singapore. Can he convert that into a race victory tonight? It's possible. Just depends how he goes about doing it here on this incredible modern Yas Marina circuit in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. What do you make of the... Yeah, I was just going to say, what do you make of Abu Dhabi as a racetrack in terms of its venue for Formula One?
Well, it depends if we're talking about it from a Formula One real-life perspective or from the game perspective. If you ask me from the game perspective, it's actually a really phenomenal racetrack and can provide really good racing. And you can get some really good wheel-to-wheel battles, but in real life, this track just ain't it, Chief.
So P.R.G. Jackson on pole ahead of Ben McEwen alongside him. Then it's Gamer James and Denmark on row 2. Switchback and Radicon row 3. Disimpi and Monkey Mafia on row 4. Then it's Sarli and Ray on row 5. Stoke Bloke, Bishop's Finger on row 6, followed by Shiffy Gifty and Gummers Indu. Binatinato and Quasinada on row 8. Then it's Tilwick, who's the last of those to have set a time. WSPJA, race winner from last time out in Zandvoort, didn't set a time. Neither did Elog in the Renault, but we can expect those to come through the field because they were outstanding last time out, weren't they, Byron?
They were. I had the privilege of being at that race, and it was a feisty one, and it was quite the battle up and down the order to really get as many points. And obviously, then you have the wet, and that kind of really added into this kind of chaos that we had at that last race. And now it's all about this one, and it's going to be absolutely full send as they get ready to go here at Abu Dhabi, and I think these drivers are really going to be on their A game for this race start. It's going to be the final opportunity to get the better of your championship rivals. You don't have to be in the fight for the championship to still pick up a good position. There's going to be plenty of drivers who are still going to be wanting to move up the championship at this final race.
So just waiting for the drivers to complete their tyre and fuel strategies for the final event of this first season of the America F1 Series. Looking at P.R.G. Jackson's performances, he's only done 2 races this season, a 3rd place finish in the opening round in Bahrain and a race win in Singapore. If he was to get a race win here, that could take his total up to 66, maybe even 67, which would put him potentially up into 5th place.
That would be a really good feat for a driver who has done 3 races in the American F1 Series, and I think if he can really get a move on here and not get pressured by Ben McEwen at all, he really has a good shot. But as I said, when we were doing another racing league just before this, I said it's quite a lot about the setup. We don't know what kind of setup these guys are using. They might have just mugged the top setup from time trial, but that only applies to time trial. That's not a race setup. That's not going to give you the maximum performance that you can in a racing scenario. So these drivers are going to be trying to find a fine line, and so as to whether they can maximize their performance in the race just as they did in quali.
So looking at the drivers on the tyres, the top 10, as you would imagine, under part firmware rolls, starting on the tyres that set their fastest times on. Everyone else downwards, apart from Bishop's Finger, are all starting on the mediums. Now, in regards to the championship, just to remind you, there is a driver's title and constructor's title on the line. For the drivers, Ben McEwen, 16 points clear ahead of Radicon. All he needs to do is finish 5th or higher to guarantee himself the title. unless Radicon does not finish in the top 2. And in the Constructors' Championship, there's a 2-point margin between Mercedes and Williams. Williams 2 points ahead of Mercedes on 165 to Mercedes 163. Alfa Romeo in third on 127, 38 points behind, but they need a minor miracle to snatch that Constructors' crown from Williams and Mercedes' noses.
Well, it would need to be, as you said, a miracle. They would have to finish 1-2, and Williams and Mercedes would have to score 0 points for Alfa Romeo to take the Constructors. So I think we're asking a bit too much of the Alfa Romeos on this particular occasion.
Well, we'll have to wait and see, as Piorgi Jackson leads the cars onto the grid. It's been a long season, and there's still 28 laps of this championship to contest. 2 drivers in the running. Will it be Ben McEwen or will it be Radicon coming away with the championship trophy by the end of Under the Lights here at the Yas Marina circuit in Abu Dhabi? Piorgi Jackson on pole. He's going for pride, potentially for 5th place in the championship. Ben McEwen is the one most definitely going for the world championship. Radicon back in 6th place. He needs to make up huge ground. So the 5 red lights coming on when we go racing for the last time in the America F1 Series. It's lights out and away we go. Piorgi Jackson gets off to a brilliant start, and also a great start from Gamer James, who's going to go right round the outside of Ben McEwen, keeps hold of 3rd, but Piorgi Jackson's got a masterful start to lead out of turn 1, 2 and 3. Next, Ben McEwen, Gamer James, Radicon, Switchback, Monkey Mafia, Sarli, DeSimpi, Ray E46 and Stoke Bloke rounding out the top 10. But what a brilliant start there from Piorgi Jackson to take the lead. But you can see Ben McEwen trying to make up for lost time. We've got Shifa Giddy spinning in the background at the back. Not sure what's happened, but he's most definitely got a lot of ground to make up. But Ben McEwen staying in touch with Piorgi Jackson. Radicon making a great start from 6th to 4th in the Mercedes, but he needs to make up more than that if they have any hope of troubling Ben McEwen for the title.
He's really got a lot of work to do, and he's got his work cut out for him in this race. But lap 1 is really your best opportunity to get the better of your rivals. You get a better start, and you've immediately got a huge advantage over your competition. And, well, Radicon clearly proving that Abu Dhabi is a racing circuit on F1 2020. Not so much in real life, but he's getting pressured right up the wazoo by the Alphas, and he's actually knocked Monkey Mafia off the circuit. Monkey Mafia made contact with Radicon. It was just side pod contact. They were trying to go side by side, and that's actually given Monkey Mafia a 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits, even though he gained nothing and instead lost over 10 positions.
I mean, that's something he'll have to deal with the stewards about afterwards, because he shouldn't really be getting that penalty. I think he was trying to move out the way of faster drivers who were going past him. But at the end of lap 1, Piorgi Jackson still leads ahead of Ben McEwen. Next, Gamer James, Switchback, Radicon, Sarli, DeSimpi, Ray 46, Doyas PJA from the back of the grid, already up to 9th place. And it's Stoke Bloke rounding out the top 10. Elog, who was also at the back of the field, is up to 12th, so good start from him. So with the positions as they are, as it stands, it's advantage Ben McEwen.
It is advantage Ben McEwen. And as it stands, he's going to extend that lead even a little bit more and just comfort that championship and just mean he could just cruise. But he won't want to cruise too hard because he's got a race to get on with, and he could potentially contend for the race victory if he gets a move on, and I think he's going to want to.
There's been an incident in Sector 2. I wonder if Ray 46 has gone for a spin. He has. He was in 8th place, I believe, before he had that spin, and we've got a virtual safety car now. Now, if you're the race leader, what do you do?
Well, it depends on how long the virtual safety car ends. I don't expect it to last all too long, but if you get to the pits, it's really a case of do you want to take that risk, and if you do, how are you going to utilise and try and maximise the success you could gain with it? Ray's DNF'd, looks like an on-track retirement. I did notice that Quasinada, he got a drive-through penalty for speeding under virtual safety car conditions.
He did, and we've got Denmark who's just gone past the scene of the accident. He was one of those who had to pit at the end of lap 1 for front wing damage. He's on his way now, but he's got an awful lot of ground to make up. So WSPJA going past his Simpy on the inside into turn 1, and what a brilliant move there. He started on the medium compound, he's already making up for lost time after sitting out qualifying, up into 7th place. Now, should he keep this up, he could take the lead actually once those who have started on the soft compound pit in, and this could have him, controlling the race at the front, whilst those behind him battling on the same strategy, battling it out on circuits.
This is something I think he's going to be very much aware of. He has the pace advantage as it stands. You don't make up 11 positions without doing some driving and talking on track, and he's clearly been putting in quite a lot of talking on track as he's absolutely standing up 11 positions in 3 laps. That is a massive feat.
And Stokebloke going past DeSimpi's AlphaTauri up into 8th place. Stokebloke's had a respectable campaign. He finished in the top 8 in every all but one race this season. He's on course. He's in 8th place now, so he could get his 9th top 8 finish of the season as it stands. You can see Ben McEwen is closed in massively actually on Pjorgi Jackson on this lap. I wonder if Pjorgi Jackson's made a mistake somewhere, but either way, Ben McEwen's within DRS range to have a go on Pjorgi Jackson, and he sets the new fastest up of the race. So he's put himself within contention of not only going for the championship, but most definitely the race win here.
It's about to become a bit more interesting, I think. If Ben McEwen can stay with him, really use DRS to pull him along, it shouldn't be all too hard. He should have a pretty healthy advantage over Pure Jackson, and it'll be the case of if he can get past, and if he can he maintain that advantage that he has? Because you don't want to overtake if he's just going to overtake.
You can see if change for a lead here. Ben McEwen down the inside of Pjorgi Jackson, coming into the chicanes of turn 8 and 9, and he's made the move stick. So Ben McEwen in the lead of the championship, in the lead of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. But Pjorgi Jackson's going to be coming back for more because he's got DRS on the second backstretch. So this is most definitely going to go on right to the very end of this one, I can imagine, with both drivers swapping places. This is great stuff.
If I'm Ben McEwen right now, I'm going to aim to get past Pure Jackson on the second DRS straight, because that's actually really where you can make a move stick more, because it's harder to follow through this narrow, just 90-degree corner part of the circuit. It's going to be a lot harder for you to follow that car in front, and it really would give him a massive advantage if he can manage to do that. So I wonder if he's going to be having similar thoughts to what I'm thinking, or if he's just going to try and send it.
And whilst you've been saying that, Switchback and Gamer Jones have just been given 3-second time penalties. Switchback for exceeding track limits. And I think Gamer Jones has been given the same penalty for the same offence. And WSPJA has got to set a new fastest lap on his medium compound tyres, so there's most definitely pace in that AlphaTauri, whilst Ben McEwen is still tussling it out with Pjorgi Jackson. Now, it's just, how do you time the overtake here? Because he will need to just probably go through ahead of Pjorgi Jackson and try and defend as hard as he can in the second DRS zone as they're about to enter.
Indeed. Ben McEwen, he's just, I'm not sure what he's doing, but he's fighting for it, and there's a spinner at the back.
Yeah, well, just whilst you've been saying that, he's got ahead of Pjorgi Jackson as Ben McEwen, but Pjorgi Jackson, with a massive straight line speed advantage with the DRS, has got back through again. So, and Switchback on the outside with DRS ahead of Gamer James. Oh, Gamer James locking up ahead of him. Switchback forced to go over the curbs up the tricky chicane. Oh, they make contact! Gamer James and Switchback making contact with each other, and all of this is allowing WSPJA to close in on them. And Switchback nearly losing it there when Gamer James and Switchback colliding. Gamer James continuing to lock up. But yeah, whilst there's a battle for the lead, there's a battle going on for third position behind. And Radicon's not making that much ground up on these guys. He's not on the best tyres at this stage, so he may have to try and go on a different strategy to maybe trying to get some track position.
Well, I think at the moment this is all just music to WSP's ears. He's just in the zone and he's seeing this battling and fighting out in front, and he just knows they are going to be losing so much time, and that's time he's going to be gaining.
Ben McEwen most definitely within DRS range to have a go on PLG Jackson again on the back straight. And we've got a spinner at the back. That's Sarli in the McLaren going for a spin just on the exit of turn 4. So all that hard work done for nothing. So Ben McEwen not using DRS on this. Oh, that's a bit cheeky there from PLG Jackson. He's read Ben McEwen's mind. He decided not to go for it, but he's allowed Ben McEwen to go through. He knows that if he remains behind him going into the detection point now, he's going to be in DRS range when they get onto the second back straight. Here we go. So PLG Jackson with the DRS. Which way will he go? He'll go to the inside this time. Ben McEwen leaves the door open. He's read what PLG Jackson's going to do, but PLG Jackson has the better line, and P1 has gone back to the racing point.
These drivers, they're going to be starting to play with each other's minds. It's interesting.
Well, with Ben McEwen in second, Radicon sixth, Ben McEwen would be world champion. Radicon over 3 seconds behind WSPGA. Not sure what much you can do there, to be honest with you. Ben McEwen's got too much in hand, but the thing is, if Ben McEwen was to drop out of this race, Radicon would need to finish second to take the title, and he's not that far. Well, I say he's far away from doing it. He's going to be very difficult for him to achieve that. Meanwhile, WSPGA's got ahead of Switchback and up into 4th place as the AlphaTauri driver. The next man up from him is Gamer James, and should he remain with him, he may be able to get DRS onto the back straight. Back to the battle for the lead. Ben McEwen right behind PLG Jackson, coming through the hairpin of turn 7, and they're going on to the back straight here before they go down that drag race down to turns 8 and 9. Will Ben McEwen sit back? Yeah, WSPGA's got ahead of Gamer James, and PLG Jackson's spun coming out of turn 9, so that's most definitely playing to Ben McEwen's hands now. He's pushed PLG Jackson into a mistake. No contact was made, and the pressure getting the better of PLG Jackson on this occasion, and Ben McEwen has been allowed into first place, completely set. Well, I say set in stone, but that's handed the advantage most certainly to Ben McEwen on this occasion.
It'll be really good if he can maintain that advantage he has. Remember, WSP is now pressuring Jackson through the corners now, because instead of looking behind for Ben McEwen, Jackson is now looking behind at WSP, who is cramping on those medium tyres at the moment. He is really heaving a lot out of that car, and
we've got drivers in the pits now. Ben McEwen's in the pits, as is PLG Jackson. Now, this is interesting. What tyres will these drivers go on? Mediums are ready for PLG Jackson. Mediums are ready for Ben McEwen. So they're going on the same strategy here. Now, where will these drivers come out in regards to traffic?
It's an important question. Seems like actually Ben McEwen is going to come out in clear air, and so should Jackson.
As Gummers Indu's going past PLG Jackson. He's coming out now. Ooh. In fact, PLG Jackson's going to be in a bit of traffic here. He's going to need to pass Gummers Indu, which he will do easily. I'm not sure if Gummers Indu is going to fight it out on this occasion. Switchback has rejoined ahead of his teammate Monkey Mafia. So that's good news actually for Switchback. Meanwhile, PLG Jackson fighting it out with Gummers Indu. Now, Gummers Indu will be aware that Radicon's in the fight for the title, so I wonder if he's going to try and battle it out with PLG Jackson just to help Radicon a little bit. Radicon's also been in for a pit stop. He's on the medium compound, so I'd like to think he'll pit again before the end of the race. Meanwhile, WSP in the lead on the track, and Gamer James nearly losing it coming out of turns 11, 12 and 13, and taking to the curves a bit too heavily there, but I can imagine Gamer James's tyres have fallen off the cliff at this stage. WSP on the best tyres at the moment.
It's quite clear. The mediums are very quick. not actually that much deficit between the mediums and the softs, and WSP has been extracting a lot of pace from him, and he's leading the race, and in my opinion, rightfully so.
Yeah, and what a drive from the back of the grid as well. And Elog, likewise, he's gone up to third place so far, starting on the mediums. And you can see Bishop's Finger coming into the pits, but McEwen allowed to go through. And setting the best Sector 3 time of the race so far, so clearly finding time on the outlap on those mediums. Switchback trying to get past the Mercedes of Gomez Indu. He will break the latest. Gomez Indu breaks the latest, but goes in too deep, and Switchback gets by. So no problem there for Switchback. And 7th place goes to the Alfa Romeo pilot.
Honestly, Jackson is in an interesting position right now. He was in control. He was really in control of this race to begin with. It's fallen away progressively. And now he has to really play catch-up.
And Elog sitting behind Gamer James. He's deciding to stay. I wonder if Gamer James is going to try and stretch out his soft compound tyres as to when he's going to go for the hards. I reckon he's going to go for a one-stop strategy here, Byron. And if he stays out again, does another lap, then I think we have to assume the hard compound is the compound which is going to go on for the remainder of the race.
He's really going to have to manage them tyres though, in order to make that strategy work. But he's clearly got some level of faith in himself.
You can see WSP rounding the last corner of turn 21 to complete lap 9. Pit window is open for those who have...
still out.
Yep, and Elog's within a second of Gamer James, so we could see a change of second place here. But McEwen alongside the Ferrari of Stokebloke to go up into 4th. Brilliant move there from him. Pure Jackson will be ruining that mistake earlier on. He's in 6th place on the road, but effectively 2nd. Although, having said that, WSP, we expect him to go on a one-stop strategy. So Ben McEwen and Pure Jackson and co have got a bit of ground to make up. And Pure Jackson's crashed out! And I'm not sure if a safety car is going to be deployed here, but Pure Jackson has lost it somewhere. Where has he lost it?
I have no idea.
He's lost it on the exit of turn 3 or 4, I believe. I can't see it now, but yeah, he's crashed out and his race is over.
No safety car necessary.
That's a bit of a surprise, actually. If he's crashed out, or then, yeah, you would have thought that the safety car would have been coming out for that if it was a hefty shunt. But either way, this is played into the hands of Ben McEwen, who can have a long free run to the checkered flag. Although, having said that, it's got the likes of WSP and Elog to worry about for when they come in for their only stops of the race. Elog's got ahead of Gamer James. Ben McEwen will be coming up to the back of that McLaren. So does Gamer James... Gamer James actually stayed out this time. Now, will he be coming in this time? The answer to that question is... No, he's not. He's carried on.
I have a feeling he is going to be trying a very different strategy, and I know this strategy is possible, but I'm not sure if it's worth it. I know that a soft medium is actually a possible strategy. It's very hard to pull off, but I'm wondering if that is what he's trying. It would make sense.
As it stands, Gamer James would finish 3rd place in the Drivers' Championship ahead of Switchback. I'm sure it's mathematically possible for Gamer James to even finish 2nd, but he would need to finish, so he would need to win the race, and for Radicon not to score, really, or finish 10th for Loira.
Well, Gamer James will be praying for a miracle, then, in that case. But I see it as an unlikely story. But who knows, anything is possible. Anybody could have a calamity.
Yeah. Denmark getting ahead of B Natty Nutter, who's pitted. Tilwick also in the pits. In fact, be interesting to see if the Haas driver is going to get... Yeah, so it looks like they're not going to be stacking drivers up on this occasion.
As far as double stacks go, that's about as good as you're going to get it on the F1 game.
Yeah, not half. Anyway, Ben McEwen's all over the back of Gamer James. Can you remember, this time around, Gamer James lost about 5 seconds on Ben McEwen the last lap alone. I wonder if he's going to let him through on this occasion here. I think he's going to have to let Ben McEwen go on this.
WSP's pit, Elog's pit.
Yeah, so WSP and Elog are
staying out.
Yeah, Gamer James has stayed out on his soft tyres they started the race on. So WSP pits, puts the soft tyres on. Elog's doing the same. So they're not doing the one-stop strategy, they're going on a 2.
As I said, the medium soft is possible, and maybe they are really going to try an absolute calamity. I doubt it, but I think Gamer James is trying the soft medium.
Yeah. But if you look on his ERS, he's not using, well, he's using it on the back straights, but he hasn't consumed that much so far in the race. He's obviously trying this conservative strategy. You can see WSP pulling alongside the Ferrari of Stokeblake to put his AlphaTauri up into 4th position, and Switchback is the next driver up ahead of him. Elog has rejoined behind Radicon in 7th, but he's got a good chance of a good result here from the back of the grid as well, likewise with WSP. But, yeah, Gamer James, I don't know how he's managing this. He's lap 12 and he's been on the soft tyres since the start. Now,
I'm looking at his tyres actually, and you can actually see the lines on the tyres. I've never noticed this on F1 car tyres, because normally you pit before they can really come very prominently, but as you can see there are these massive lines on his tyres where he's locked up, flat spotted them and worn them to absolute bits. So
that's graining right there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's graining and it's massive. If you look at his front right, you can see it very noticeably.
He's pitting.
And he does come into the pits.
So Gamer James in the pits from 2nd place. What compound is he going to go on? Is he going to go on the hards, or is he going to go on the mediums?
I expect the mediums. Why would he extend this in if he was going to go to the hards?
Well,
Exactly.
he's going to go on the mediums, yeah. So he's going to go on the medium compound, as you've said there. Doesn't get held up in the pits, which is good news for him. So where will he come out in terms of track position? He might get out in front of his teammate Sarli, although it is touch and go. In fact, no, he won't. He'll rejoin ahead of DeSimpi. So in actual fact, in terms of track position, not too bad for him.
Not terrible, but not great. I think he's definitely lost a heap of time on trying to do that strategy, so he's going to really have to try and make it work.
And one driver's going to have to make his soft tyres work and fight his way through the field is WSP. Ben McEwen has been on the mediums for only 4 laps. WSP's been in the pits for 1 lap. It doesn't quite update actually on the tyre thing as what you might think sometimes. But he's flying at the moment on his softs, as you would think so. Ben McEwen, 8.6 seconds in front, managing his mediums brilliantly. I can imagine maybe he might go to the end, who knows?
Potentially. It's really a hit and go. It could be a really good strategy, or it could be a really bad strategy, so it is very much up to the driver as to whether they can make it work or not, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. Noticing Gamer James has closed right up to Zali over this lap, and Gamazindu as Stokeblake comes into the pit, so that should be a position for Gamer James.
Yeah, it will be, and Sarli, I think, he's going to be battling with Gamazindu actually, Sarli, whilst he's got his teammate behind him, so Sarli needs to try and maybe play the team game here and let Gamer James go, but is he going to?
Oh, it does.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he has done. Very tricky. Gamer James hopping over the curbs there for good measure, and he'll want to get by Gamazindu very, very soon, which he will do on the back straight. I don't think Gamazindu is going to fight it on this occasion. In fact, he does it in the hairpin, and that's 6th place for the McLaren driver.
He got a warning for that incident. He's actually been getting a very hefty amount of warnings, so he actually has 9 seconds of penalties as it stands.
He has, so he needs to try and find time from somewhere. I think that's partly why he's decided to make the audacious strategy and try and minimise the amount of time he would lose by pitting for a second time. So Gamer James, on his medium compound, is going to have to manage them for the remainder of the race. And if we get a safety car, that would be bad news for him, because there's certain circumstances which you're not able to take the time penalty under the safety car when you come in for the pit stop, which is annoying, really, because you would want to be doing that.
Indeed. It's the yellow flag in Sector 2. There's an incident, I'm not sure between who.
It's between B Natty Natter and Shifty Gifty. They've had an incident together, those two. No virtual safety car or full safety car is required, which is good news, especially for Ben McEwen, who is 6.5 seconds clear of WSP. And the championship is tantalisingly close now for the Scots.
Yeah, he's really had it under control a lot this season and really has had it very easy, I think. But I think Radicon has been putting up a great challenge over the course of the season, very consistent from both drivers, and Ben McEwen is likely to come out on top. Obviously anything can happen, still 13 laps to go until the checkered flag, and that's 13 laps where anything is possible.
So just having a look to see the closest battle on track. The closest battle on track is between Gummas Indu and Sarli for 7th place. Gummas Indu's had a better race here today, actually, as is Bishop's Finger in 9th and Disimpi in 10th. But some of these drivers may need to be pitting again before the end of the race. They may not do, but it is most definitely probable that Stoke Blake, on his fresh set of sauce, is most definitely going to get by Disimpi very shortly. You can see Sarli down the inside of Gummas Indu. Gummas Indu locks up into turn 11, but keeps hold of P7. But Stoke Blake's got by Disimpi as well to put his Ferrari up into the top 10.
Zali, right on the back of Gummas Indu. I think it is inevitable that the McLaren will get past the Mercedes.
Well, Sarli's on much fresher tyres than Gummas Indu at this stage. Gummas Indu's been on the mediums since, I think he pitted at the end of lap 1, did Gummas Indu, and he's been on the medium tyres ever since. Either way, he's got Sarli all over the back of him. Sarli doesn't go for it through turn 1. I wonder if he may have to do just... He might let him go on this occasion through turn 2. In fact, no. Sarli backs out of it on that occasion. I thought it was going to be alongside through turn 2. Not to be on this occasion. So perhaps the back straight is his best chance.
Probably is your really best shot at an overtake, especially in a sector like this. Gotta be careful.
And Stoke Blake all over the back of Bishop's Finger. I think this is going to be a slam dunk change of position as well. And Sarli getting past Gummas Indu with DRS as they come down to turn 8. Round the outside goes the McLaren, and that's 7th place for the time being at least. Stoke Blake not able to get in front of Bishop's Finger on the back straight, but he may do on this back straight as they come through now. Before through turns 10 and down to turn 11. Gummas Indu trying to get back alongside Sarli. He had a look, but stays behind the McLaren. Stoke Blake up to 9th ahead of Bishop's Finger.
Yeah, they're really going at it, a lot of these guys, being very conservative as well. Some people are really high on ERS, others not so much. I think Gamer James managing ERS really well. Actually, Gamer James really is actually the only one managing his ERS somewhat well. Actually, Disimpi, he's managing his ERS very finely. Yes, really not too much ERS at management going on about here. Also, Ben McEwen looking to lap P14 of Shifty Gifty.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Ben McEwen's got that 3-second time penalty, presumably for exceeding track limits too many times. So if WSP can stay within 3 seconds of Ben McEwen, he would be the happy victor for the second race running.
Well, WSP, he hasn't got a warning so far. So it's unlikely that he's going to be getting a penalty here.
And Stoke Blake getting past Gummas Indu, putting his Ferrari up into 8th place. The next man up from him is Sarli. In fact, Gummas Indu back down the inside into turn 8 outbreaks himself, goes in too deep. Stokebloke gets back alongside. Unique camera angle there. Stokebloke goes past the Mercedes of Gomez Indu. Bishop's Finger fancying his chances with the Mercedes, and it's Bishop's Finger who puts his Williams up into 9th place. Gomez Indu down to 10th.
Well, we said about how Williams needed to, well, we're looking to win the Constructors, and moves like that are certainly going to help.
And switchbacks in the pits, presumably for a set of the soft compound for the last stints. So up to 3rd goes Elog, Radicon 4th, Gamer James 5th, and I think Switchback is most definitely going to go out in front of Sarli in 6th place.
As you would expect.
So yeah, Switchback got track position. He's got a chance of, well, if he was to overtake Gamer James, he would need to outscore him. He's 9 points behind him coming into the last race of the season. And the driver's table says that Gamer James is on 110 points, Switchback on 101. So Switchback would need to outscore Gamer James by looking at the results table. He would need to outscore him by at least 10 points in order to finish 3rd in the standings. In fact, Gamer James has gone past Radicon and up into 4th place. Radicon just doesn't have the pace at the moment in this one. Gamer James most certainly does. He's on the fresher tyres to the Mercedes, puts his McLaren up into 4th position. I wonder if Elog and WSP will be thinking about a pit stop before the end of this race. Ben McEwen can probably go to the end with the state of his tyres at the moment. They've got 10 more laps to do, and I have to say Ben McEwen's going to have this one in control unless we do get a safety car.
Well, you've just mentioned a safety car, and then B Natty Natter and I believe Quasi Nada have just had a wheel coming together. No collision, no problem there, but if I keep on squabbling, you might end up with that safety car you're alluding to.
Yeah,
Could
well
and truly shake it up.
Elog's in the pits from 3rd place. He'll lose 3rd to Gamer James, 4th to Radicon, and I think Switchback's going to go past him as well. So Elog will rejoin in 6th place behind the Alfa Romeo. So the race order: Ben McEwen leading, WSP in 2nd, Gamer James in 3rd place, 23 seconds behind the Alpha Tauri. And it's Radicon in 4th, Switchback 5th, Elog 6th. As it stands, as far as the title race is concerned, Ben McEwen will be world champion.
Well, he's really pulled it out of the hat as it stands. By the way, drivers doing their final pit stops now.
Sarli's one of them, Bishop's Finger as well, and DeSimpi. Gamazindu will stay behind in 13th because DeSimpi's only just exiting out of the tunnel part of the pit exit, and Gamazindu will stay in 13th position.
As you'd expect, these guys are really keeping it very, very clean.
DOSP most certainly keeping within the confinements of the Yas Marina circuit. It's interesting because I reckon he will pit again. He'll go on to the soft compound. Whether it'll be this lap or maybe the next lap, who knows? But he's almost guaranteed 2nd place here. I suppose he hasn't got anything to lose at this stage. Ben McEwen, before the end of this race, is going to be on warm mediums. WSP is going to be on fast softs by the time he comes in. In fact, Switchback has got ahead of Radicon because Radicon is in for his last stop from 4th place. Softs going on the Mercedes, and he'll come back out behind Stokebloke, but ahead of Monkey Mafia.
Yes. The uncertainty.
Radicon not having his best drive today, it has to be said. We knew it was going to be too much of an ask, really, for him to take the title, but you'd have thought to have seen more from Radicon throughout this one, considering his consistency over the course of the campaign. Sarli getting ahead of Denmark, who pits from what was 9th place, comes back out on a new set of the soft compound, and he should rejoin behind Gomez Indu.
This race is an interesting finale, as obviously it's night race, and we do love a night race or two, and
yeah, well, WSP coming into the pits as well as Ben McEwen. So Ben McEwen, to play the safe game, is coming into the pits for a set of the soft compound. And I don't think Gamer James will take the lead unless Williams make probably the best pit stop of their season.
You mean worst pit stop of their season?
The best pit stop, yeah. In fact, Gamer James coming onto the stopping straight now, and in fact, Ben McEwen and WSP will keep hold of first and second places. They're well ahead of them.
Mental. They've really managed to cover that off beautifully, and it means they're just not going to lose anything.
Nope. And I think WSP is going to get some DRS here because he's within a second of the back marker of Shifty Gifty, who moves out of the way, ghosted and spins the Ferrari round. And yeah, he's had a lackluster race, it has to be said, for Shifty Gifty. Not really been that impressive this season, it has to be said. But that DRS on the back straight has helped WSP somewhat. And he's gained a little bit of ground on Ben McEwen in front of him. This has been a brilliant drive from WSP from the back of the grid.
Wow. I think there's quite a few drivers here who have had an absolutely mental race. And these drivers have been having some incredible drives. And WSP is one of them. Elog as well, another driver who's just had a race of dreams, making up so many places and really having the absolute ideal race.
We got narrowed down to just 2 seconds between WSP. Just looking at to see who's got more ERS than the other, and it's pretty identical. So this is going to be down to just pure driver speed. WSP posting the best third sector time of the race so far, and that's helped him close in more on Ben McEwen in front of him. And bearing in mind, in fact, not just take this into consideration, Ben McEwen has that time penalty of 3 seconds. So if WSP can stay within 3 seconds of Ben McEwen, WSP's won this one.
Well, Ben McEwen needs to get a move on then.
Most definitely so. Stokebloat has come into the pits from 7th position, but he has to wait because his teammate's in there who's a lap down. Oh, that's bad news for Stokebloat. That is really, really costly to him. He won't be happy with that whatsoever. Oh, you just have to feel for him.
Just aren't ready for him either.
Well, they were. It's just that Shifty Gifty was already in the box before Stokebloat came in. In fact, Shifty Gifty came in for a new front wing, and through all that has compromised Stokebloat's race. Meanwhile, Elog coming around the outside of Switchback. This is a battle for 4th place here, and Switchback running Elog out wide into turn 11. They've got Gamer James in front of him as well. In fact, Elog does not have a time penalty to his name. Switchback and Gamer James do. So, as it stands, Elog would be on the podium.
Well, this is shaping out to be an interesting last few laps, and could be really keeping an eye on everything that's happened.
Yeah, and Ben McEwen and WSP have been given time penalties actually, but Ben McEwen has got 6 seconds of time penalty. WSP only has 3, so it's as it was a lap ago between the two in terms of the fight for the race win. Want to go back to the battle for 3rd place though, because Switchback is all over the rear of Gamer James's McLaren. This could be crucial in the race for 3rd place in the championship. Switchback, can he get by the McLaren of Gamer James? I want to have a look at their... Oh, and collision there, and Elog's gone through. So a coming together there between the McLaren and the Alfa Romeo has allowed Elog to leapfrog the pair of them to go up into 3rd place.
Well, I mean, Elog took absolute advantage of that situation, and it just really allowed him to move up into P3, and that's actually a really good place for him to be.
I wonder if Gamer James is going to be absolutely... Sorry, Gamer James is going to be absolutely full of adrenaline of because of Switchback's manoeuvre down at the hairpin. They touch a little bit, but get away with it this time. But yeah, Gamer James will not be very happy with the manner of which Switchback ran into the back of him.
Well, I have noticed WSP got a 3-second time penalty and Ben McEwen got a further 3-second time penalty. Switchback has 12 seconds, Gamer James also has 12 seconds, Radicon 3 seconds, 10 seconds for Monkey Mafia, 6 seconds for Zali, Desimpi has no penalties, Bishop's Finger 3 seconds, Gama Zindu 21 seconds of penalties, Denmark 3, Stoke Bloke also 3 seconds of penalties, Quasinada 15 seconds, B Natty Natter 6 seconds, Shifty Gifty 25 seconds, and Tilwick 14 has 6 seconds of penalties to his name as well.
And you mentioned Sali there, who's within, well, 2/10 actually of Monkey Mafia, who would finish ahead of him at this rate, and he wants to try and pass him on the road in case anything happens up front ahead of with the likes of Radicon, Gamer James, Switchback and co. But Gamer James is out of DRS range of Switchback ahead of him, so this is perhaps the closest battle we've got on track at right now. I mean, Gama Zindu, 21 seconds worth of time penalty to his name. That's damaging. That is really, really damaging.
I mean, I'm more shocked at Shifty Gifty with 25 seconds, but I mean, you do you.
Yeah. And Sali's going to go past Monkey Mafia here with DRS on the McLaren. There's an incident down at sector 1. It looks like Denmark has had a moment in the Renault. And he's reset back on track. I'm not sure that's within the rules for Denmark. He's had a really torrid race, it has to be said anyway, but that just puts the kibosh on what's been a very dismal evening for the American. So we'll go back to the battle actually for 7th actually. In fact, Sali's just lapping the back marker of Quasinada, who's had a really dreadful evening again. 14th position, although he's ahead of Shifty Gifty and B Natty Natter, but he's going to drop quite a bit down, although B Natty Natter's got 6 seconds worth of time penalty less than Denmark, but Quasinada's got enough of a margin to maintain his position at the moment. Meanwhile, we've got WSP 1.2 seconds behind Ben McEwen with 4 laps left.
Ben McEwen is also running low on ERS, just as WSP is also, but WSP actually running low on fuel. Might not make it to the end of the race.
Yeah, well, I think WSP is trying to eke out as much fuel as possible before he does eventually have to save fuel. It may just be a tiny bit, like less than 0.1 of a lap to save fuel. I think he'll know where to save fuel and parts of the track where he can't afford to save fuel. So you have to play it very, very clever, and I think WSP will be thinking just that. You can see the change on the steering wheel there, changing the fuel mix as he's coming into the slower corners, and that's where I think he's most definitely going to need to save fuel.
Indeed. These drivers are going to be, well, not fighting tooth and nail, but they're going to be trying to gain on each other tooth and nail because, well, they really need to.
And,
There's yellow flag
Denmark,
in sector 3.
yeah, that's Denmark. He's crashed out somewhere. He's retired in the pits, actually, so no need for a safety car on this occasion. But yeah, he's had a really dreadful race as Denmark got caught up in a lap 1 melody, and he's just not really recovered from there, unfortunately. So that's him out of the race, the third driver to retire, along with Pure G Jackson and Ray E46. Ben McEwen, 3 laps away from taking the title. He may lose the race win, but that won't bother him too much. He's going to be world champion, as Rodicon's in 6th place and cannot do anything. In fact, WSP is going to be alongside the Williams. Can he pass him on the track to take the race win? He won't do it on this back straight here, but he may do it on the second back stretch as they are about to enter through now. DRS is going to be open on the AlphaTauri. How well will Ben McEwen play it? Will he defend for all he can on this occasion? I think WSP may wait until the last lap to do it. But either way, it's been a really brilliant race for WSP GA, and it's been a phenomenal, phenomenal drive from him.
Indeed. He has drove absolutely flawlessly over the course of this race.
And Gama Zindu's had insult to injury, he's got another 3 seconds added. That takes his total to 24. Shifty 50 on 28. And we've had a spin at the somewhere. It looks like I think it's cleared very, very quickly. I'm not sure what's happened, but it may have just been one of the back markers. It might have been Quasinada or something. But either way, back to the lead. 2 laps remaining. WSP, will he go for the lead on this lap? Ben McEwen will try and fight it tooth and nail, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do that with the 3-second time penalty deficit. The only way he could do it, actually, is force WSP into a mistake where he just exceeds the track limits and gets a time penalty as a result of it.
Well, it's going to be very crucial in this last lap to be careful with it, so going to be full send. It's also going to be a conservative full send. I'm also noticing WSP still low on fuel.
Yeah, so if he needs to pass Ben McEwen, he's going to do it on the straights. And when we get to the slower part of the lap, the last sector, that's most definitely where he's going to need to save fuel. But he doesn't even need to pass. He doesn't even need to pass Ben McEwen on track. He just needs to stay within 3 seconds of him. But he's going to try and make the move. Does he do it on this occasion through turn 11? The answer is no. So he sits behind him and just watch him on his steering wheel, Byron, because he may change the fuel mixture before they get to the slower parts of the Yas Marina circuit. There we go, look. He just changed the fuel mixture on the steering wheel.
As you said, and he's changed that fuel mix, and we've just got not long left now, and WSP, he's just turned up the fuel, I think, again. So he's clearly saving a little bit, pushing, and he's really going absolutely forward.
We're on the final lap now, and WSP's got enough fuel at the moment, but he's going to be using the back straight to make a lunge on Ben McEwen to take the lead on the last lap. He's got a great chance of winning it on merit anyway, but he wants to try and do it on the track to win this one. Ben McEwen, less than a lap away from being crowned the first America F1 Series champion. WSP, can he take victory on the road as a spinner? It looks like Gamer James has gone for a spin. He has. He's coming into the pits to get a nose change, and well, that just sums up his race and season, to be honest with you. But he will finish third in the standings as it stands. But we want to go to the battle of the leaders. WSPGA goes for the lead down the inside into turn 8. Does he make the move? Ben McEwen leaves him more than enough room, and WSP takes the lead. But for how long? I think he's got this one because Ben McEwen's too far back to do it, and Gamazindu's had a spin in the runoff section of Sector 3, but WSP is into the lead on the last lap from the back of the grid. A brilliant, brilliant effort from him, and it's been a superlative drive from the AlphaTauri driver, and what a brilliant season it has been. And so many thrills and spills, so many different drivers taking to the top step of the podium, and a title race that went down to the wire. WSP is going to take his second win on the trot, and doing so in style from the back of the grid here in Abu Dhabi. Ben McEwen will be delighted to be champion anyway. WSP round in the last corner of turn 21 onto the pit straight. He wins the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Ben McEwen, second place in the race. The first America F1 Series, Ben McEwen, champion of the world.
You do it just like Crofty, you know.
I had to throw it in.
Elog, he'll be delighted with a P3 result and switch back. Well, he won't lose the position actually. So Radicon will finish 5th, and he'll finish, I believe, 2nd in the championship, as the number on his car suggests.
Well, Radicon won't be too disappointed with finishing second. He's actually going in the pits on the last lap. I'm not sure why he's doing that, but
Gamer James cross the line through the pit lane.
He's going to.
Why did he?
I'm not sure why, but he probably doesn't want to commiserate too much. But he will be happy with second place in the championship when he looks back on it. Brilliant effort from Radicon. Gamer James over the line in 6th place. He'll drop behind Sarli, actually, and DeSimpi. Now, that could change the situation for 3rd place, because Switchback finished 4th. Gamer James will be down
DeSimpi jumps both of them.
Yeah, so DeSimpi jumped both of them up to 6th. That's a brilliant effort from DeSimpi in the last race of the championship. And Gamer James finishing 8th, Switchback in 4th. So it's Gamer James who finishes 3rd by just 1 point over Switchback. And also for the Constructors' Championship, Williams take the honours as well over Mercedes. So it's a double for the Williams team.
Well, you can't say they didn't deserve it. They've really pulled a phenomenal season. And, well, they really have pulled it all out of the bag for this season. And it'll be Ben McEwen who takes the championship.
And what a brilliant race as well. And WSPGA decided to sit out qualifying to start on the medium tyres. He went for the two-stop strategy, went on the longer first stint, and it made it work. And a brilliant move on Ben McEwen on the last lap. Ben McEwen knew it was going to be tough with the time penalties that either driver had. But he won't be too disappointed. Ben McEwen will be happy to have taken the title anyhow, and doing so in style as well. Finishing on the podium, celebrating with the champagne. And Elog as well on the podium for Renault from the back of the grid. So two drivers who started 18th and 19th, finishing first and third. So just a roundup of today's result. WSP wins for the second time on the trot. Ben McEwen in second place and crowned champion of the America F1 Series. Elog was third from 19th on the grid, then it switched back in fourth. Radicon finishing in fifth ahead of Disimpi. Great drive from him in sixth place. Sarli in the points for McLaren in seventh. Gamer James in eighth. Monkey Mafia in ninth. Bishop's Finger running out the top 10 and taking the final point. Stoke Blake was 11th, followed by Gunners Indu. Quasinado was 13th ahead of Tilwick. B Natinata finishing in 15th position. Shifty Gifty with a 34-second time penalty, rounding out the finishes in 16th place. Denmark not classified, neither was Pure G Jackson or Ray E46. Wow, what a brilliant last race of the season. Ben McEwen will be absolutely delighted to be crowned champion Byron, and what a brilliant race it was and a championship it has been.
Yeah, I mean, Ben McEwen on it since race one, and he really hasn't looked back all too much, and ultimately the best driver in the world takes the championship, and for this time it's Ben McEwen, but it could be different in season 2, and that's something you need to consider, and I think season 2 could be even better than season 1.
Yeah, and I'd like to think so as well. And from what I've been told, from what I've found out from an ad that the America F1 Series had created, it's expected to be 2 divisions, depending on the number of entries we have for it. So if you are interested in joining the America F1 Series, do please go to their Instagram at America F1 Series if you wish to get involved. Well, that's all for tonight and for season 1 of the America F1 Series. Byron, thank you for being in my company for the last 3 rounds. It's been a brilliant championship for me to commentate on, and I can't wait to do it all over again very, very soon. Congratulations to tonight's winner at WSPGA, and massive congratulations to Ben McEwen, the first America F1 Series champion. He'll be very delighted, and he'll most definitely celebrate it long into the night. I've been Tom Cairns, and I'll speak to you again soon when the America F1 Series returns.